Hello guys, welcome to today's episode. Um, so my name is Dr. T, and this is Clinical Medicine with Dr. T. So guys, I'm actually on call and I've just taken a break. I want to take a nap after this video. Immediately after I want to take a nap. So welcome to this episode. I think this is episode number 3. A patient that I saw. For those who don't know, in this feature, whenever I run into an interesting patient that I want to share with you, I always take notes and make sure that I come and share what I need to share with you and what we need to learn from the patient. So this is the feature, a patient that I saw. So let's quickly talk about this patient. So this patient is so it's about hyperkalemia, right? And I'm so happy that I saw this patient today and we have already done something on hyperkalemia. So this is a real life patient. So what happened is, this patient, I'm working in casualty now, where we deal with medical emergencies. So one of the interns saw this patient in OPD, and then he called me and then he told me that they are referring this patient to us in casualty. So so this is what happened. So this patient is a 61-year-old male patient. So he has been labeled as having uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes. So the history is that, so when this doctor called me, he said that the potassium of this patient was 6.2. So, and then I went and I saw the patient. So I took the patient to casualty. He was walking, he was talking. So when I got to casualty, I flipped back and I saw that this patient was seen at the clinic last week, and the doctor at the clinic saw that he was having hyperkalemia of 6.3. So the doctor shifted the patient, and we did speak about shifting, that when you wanna shift a patient using IV therapy, remember we said you can shift a patient using beta agonist like albuterol, salbutamol. So he opted to switch this patient using IV therapy. So obviously what he used was a calcium gluconate. He used insulin, and then he used the dextrose. I saw when I was flipping back, that's what I saw. So and then after the doctor there at the clinic saw the patient, then he took blood. He said the patient must come to the hospital. So the same intern that saw this patient today is the one that saw this patient on Friday and took blood. Said, okay, please come back on today for blood results. So when the bloods came, the hyperkalemia was still there. So at that point, as I was flipping through, I already knew that, okay, here we are dealing with persistent hyperkalemia. So it was 6.2 at that time. So I wasn't really excited about wanting to shift the patient, all those things. I first examined the patient. I asked about clinical features of hyperkalemia. So he was not reporting any weakness of the legs, of the trunk, or of the hands, of the arms or of the neck. Remember, the weakness in hyperkalemia is ascending. There was nothing like that, and then there was no paralysis. So the powers were all 5/5. So at this point, I knew that we have a patient who's got hyperkalemia but is not clinically symptomatic. We did an ECG. The medical students were helping me with the ECG, setting it up. We found it to be normal, the ECG. So this patient didn't have clinical features of hyperkalemia. He also didn't have any ECG changes of hyperkalemia, like we spoke about your peaked tau T waves, your broadened P that disappears, P wave that disappears, your prolonged PR, your widened QRS. Didn't have any of these features. So now what I wanted to get to the bottom of is, why is this patient having persistent hyperkalemia? So what I did is I went back to the file to check what is he taking. Okay, so before I did that, I checked the bloods. These bloods, what was happening with these bloods? So I found that he was having a hyponatremia of 108. The potassium was 6.2. The urea was 7.2. The creat was 88. And then the FBC was also normal. So I was excited to find that, the GFR was more than 60. So I was excited to find that this patient didn't have any renal problems. He didn't have any problems with excreting the potassium. Remember, we said one of the major causes of hyperkalemia is when a patient cannot excrete the potassium. So with a good GFR, it means the patient was able to, the renal function was okay. Remember, for a patient to get hyperkalemia, at least the GFR must have dropped to below 30. This patient's GFR was more than 60. So, and also I was happy to find that the creatinine is fine. The urea is also fine. So this patient did not have any renal impairment. In terms of, remember, because we said that hyperkalemia can be caused by an increased intake, which can be oral or IV, or it can be due to shifting. And also we also mentioned